Welcome to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Jones. I am a certified personal trainer, and I'm here to help you achieve your fitness goals without pain. In each episode, I'll share tips and strategies that will help you stay safe and pain-free while you're working out. I'll also interview experts in the field of fitness and pain management. So if you're ready to learn how to stay active and pain-free, then subscribe to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pain-Free Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Dana Jones, and today I am joined by Nadia Ruiz. She is an educator, coach, and community advocate passionate about helping people reach their fitness goals. The daughter of Ecuadorian immigrants, she ran her first marathon at 14 and has since completed over 650 races worldwide in 163 marathons. Damn. 21 ultras and 18 Ironmans. Damn. A UCL graduate with degrees in biology and education. Her 20-year career spans teaching, coaching, and youth mentorship. She continues to inspire others to chase big dreams and create positive change through movement and community. Nadia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Damn, you must really like to move your body.
I do. I mean, after I crossed that first finish line for the first marathon, I just became addicted to the distance, but also the feeling of training and the process of getting there.
So you ran your first race at 14 years old, and that's kind of nuts in itself. I imagine you were a runner, so that was totally fine. But what's it like participating with your dad? And because you go through, if people have run, I've only run a half marathon, so I don't claim to understand what physiologically happens to you through a marathon, but how is it with somebody who is with you, especially a family member? Like, how do you go through those ups, downs, phantom things that happen that are really just your mind trying to get you to quit when you're totally fine and stuff like that?
I think it's the biggest thing is just having a common language. You, without even saying words, you're already communicating just the feeling, what you feel when you run and you move or you're training and you're doing something you truly enjoy. Because over the years, now my dad and I have shared 29, 30 years of racing together. And it's been an amazing journey to see him, because he did his first marathon at age 40, and seeing his evolution through the sport in his 40s, his 50s and 60s. And now he's 60. I get to see that adaptations and evolutions, but also his joy and his happiness. And of course, running in your 40s is different when you're running in your 60s. And now it's like, I'm in my 40s and I get to see him. I kind of go fast forward into the future. I see the joy and him turning into a child. It's that joy of just happiness. And that brings me happiness to see him happy. And it also reminds me to be very present and appreciate what I feel now, because my dad also has a lot of chronic pain. And even though he has to navigate through a lot of chronic pain, he still loves moving. He still loves running. So a big part of our journey of just sharing all these years together has been just having that mutual understanding and language that we communicate to each other of joy and happiness through our sport.
That's awesome. That is so cool. It's just, I'm sure as a parent, he's probably super proud, because I know that you just want to be able to share experiences with your children, and to be able to do that, especially for the amount of time, because you are training as well. And I don't know if you train together, but that does create a special bond for sure.
It does. It really, really does. And of course, training for a 60-year-old man is very different than what people think, because he still can perform, but a lot of that comes from his mindset and his mental strength. And that's where I've learned a lot of my mindset and mental strength from when I first started running almost 30 years ago. Now we call it mindset. Back then it was just sports psychology. And I learned it just directly from him. And he just has this fortitude and mental grit of just going and knowing how to suffer and knowing how to embrace it, because he enjoys it. He loves to go into that kind of pain cave. And he taught me that. He taught me through example. He taught me through words. And now it's, again, we just communicate that, because I see him pushing himself at 68 when he's racing, because he enjoys it. Now, when we train together, it's very, very different. It's more about hiking, walking. I take him to a lot of PT or chiropractor, or just a lot of just treatment to help him manage a lot of the chronic pain that he carries from, not so much from the sport, but actually from his trade. He's a union electrician for now over 40, 45 years. So all of that has developed chronic pains, and he's had surgeries, he's had herniated discs, he has sciatica. So all of those things limit him. And I think our spirits are so young inside, especially when we're athletes. We want to remember ourselves when we were teens and we're 20s, but then when we start to grow into our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, we still want to perform like we did when we were young. So that's kind of what I see through him is he has come to tears, tears of joy and sometimes tears of pain where he's like, Mika, like, I love this. He's like, but it does hurt. So I love this and I want to keep doing it because I feel I remember when I was running in my 40s, but I'm not in my 40s anymore. I'm 60s and I am 68. So trying to go and work through that manage that pain is a journey constantly, but I think for us it's worth it because we get to do what we love, which is move our bodies and run races whenever we can together. The biggest thing I'm very so grateful for is that I get to share a variety of races because we've done this for so long. And it's started out with 5Ks and 10Ks, and it went to half marathons and marathons. And then I even helped him train for his first like triathlon. He ended up doing his first triathlon, I think it was at 57. So it's never too late to start. And it's just never too late to like, try something new. And my dad's a huge example of that. And that's what helps me, like, encourage me, like, what else can I do? What else can I explore? And just enjoy what I do.
How has your understanding of the mind body connection evolved as you've trained? Because I know as a 14-year-old, there's a lot of things you get away with that you don't get away with at 40 because we push through things because we're younger and we're like, we'll sleep when we're dead, kind of
Yeah.
mentality. Like, so how has you, because you have done the same thing for all this time. So how has your understanding changed?
It has immensely changed as an athlete, as a coach, and as an educator. Because as an athlete in my teens and my 20s, you really are invincible. You're in a state like just for you uniquely yourself. If you take care of your basic needs, it's amazing what your body can do. And I look back now and I'm like, wow, my recovery rate was what I used to push my body through. And also, like, you don't even I used to sleep 4 hours a night when I was training for Ironman full time. I had a full time job. I still had to take care of my home, and I still tried to had a side hustle. And I was working remotely in event production, so I was still working, kind of balancing two full time jobs, the training and the recovery and everything. So what I sacrificed a lot was the sleep. Now, again, for the mindset then, and that connection is like push, 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 hustle, hustle. So my mindset was like, if you're not working as hard as I am, like, you have no excuse. Like, you can work harder. There's always ways to work harder. But in reality, your life stages are very different and your body's very different, and it changes, and it starts to change physiologically from the age of like 30. It's plus or minus a couple years. And then every 5 years, it's continuously changing and challenging you to adapt and to feel what you feel and recognize what you feel. And it's hard because our spirit doesn't age as fast as our body does. And our spirit wants more and it wants to continuously push, but sometimes our body no longer can keep up. And that's the thing. And it's not that we have to give up on our bodies. It's more about how can I adapt and evolve in order to give my body more so that it can give me back more in return. And as an athlete, like, learning that was challenging because I knew it by theory. I knew it through books and through all the training and everything, but I never had felt it internally. And I trained my clients and my athletes too, but it's still, once you start to feel it, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, I understand. And as a competitive athlete, you significantly start to be challenged with your recovery rate. Because in reality, if you train and you're very creative with your training programs, you can preserve your fitness from your 20s and your 30s, your 40s, and up to your 60s. The biggest difference is how much recovery time you need and how much more you have to give your body. Like, in your teens and your 20s, you could probably throw out 3 quality to 4 quality speed sessions then and recover really quickly and be back at it. I mean, back then I was racing hard, like marathons every weekend and every as often as I could. I mean, from 30 to 40 races. Now I can only target like 5 races a year. And then I have fillers where it's like my goal B race, my goal C race, or races that I get to share with my dad and pace him. So, like, it's evolving too. It's like I now can pace my dad, but it's still, I get a lot of value from it. But again, it does change a lot from your teens and your 20s. My 30s were that kind of that transition. And then my 40s, I have had to adjust tremendously, tremendously, because I still want to be competitive. I still want to see what my body can do, but it's understanding, like, it's very easy to tweak something. It's very easy to, feel out of whack if you don't give it the right nutrition or you give it the right sleep like pattern and quality. But again, seeing my dad and his evolution through his body from his 40s, 50s, 60s kind of gives me that window ahead too. So a lot of my clients that I train too are in their 50s and 60s and trying to find that space of what is strong in you. What is that version that you can explore and make it possible that we don't have to? We sometimes think that we're going to age and it's just inevitable to be sedentary. And it's like, no, you can be in your 50s and 60s and 70s and be very mobile and be very active. It's just finding the right tools and program that fits your life and your body.
How long does it take to recover from a marathon physiologically?
I mean,
You and then maybe normal humans?
you're going to hear everybody say it depends. It always depends. For me now it's about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Before, I used to be within a few days, I was recovered. I was in my 20s. In 30s, I was like, "Oh, I could get away with it after a week." And now I realized in the last few years, I'm like, I should not be doing anything long or heavy in 2 weeks. But that's also coming back with, like, I've got a lot of base fitness in me. I've
Mhm.
have now almost 30 years. So typically you would not see recommended that, oh, you're going to recover well from a marathon in 1 to 2 weeks. Like, no, because it's not just about soreness. A lot of people think that you're going to be your indication of being recovered is like whether you're sore or not. And it's not, because it's a nervous system metabolic issue. Like, there's a lot of emotions and mental that we put into our training, into our goal races, and being of a marathon or an Ironman or an ultra. So all of that stuff gets emptied out and needs to be refilled metabolically and nervous system wise. And so that's why they say, especially if you are within your first 1 to 5 years of in your endurance sport and your goal race, like, give yourself the time, a month of like full recovery. And that really does matter. Again, that doesn't mean be sedentary. That doesn't mean overindulge in like all the vices. It doesn't mean don't work out. It just means like be mindful of what your movement plan is. Be mindful that you shouldn't go back into heavy structure and heavy intensity and heavy long runs again. Because another thing too is we've come off of such a big high after our goal race. And we just want, like, oh, I want to go for the next one. I want to go for like just everything. It's like, I'm not sore. I can go ahead and like jump in. It's like, no, we have to respect the body. So it's being very mindful. Like, a good month is a nice time to transition. The fitter you get, that window does get shorter. And the more base fitness that you have, meaning years of like base, then that window can be adjusted and shorter. But it also matters as well, how demanding was that endurance race? If it was extremely hot, extremely humid, extremely hilly, extremely like technical terrain, like how much did it ask from you? And so you have to kind of give back to that time to your body.
Well, and there's also that depression that happens. Well, and I don't know, I'm sure people have suffered from it. I know for me, it was a massive fall off because I almost felt like there wasn't a goal after I finished my goal race. And then there is that weirdness of, okay, well, I know, the next race is going to be whatever. I may have scheduled something, or, so if it's 12 weeks from now or something like that. But there's something about your A race that when you do that and then you're done with it, and especially depending on how you felt about the results, there is that like period of mourning, I guess. And I don't know if you have felt that or if it's just a me thing, because there's such a buildup and there's this nervous energy and there's this excitement over this thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, and it's done.
Yes, and it's very common in all levels of athletes, and it's common no matter how much years of experience that you have. And this is kind of what I go back to telling my athletes in my community is you're pouring so much into this goal race. It's like there's mental, there's emotions, there's the physicality of it, and your spirit is being poured into this goal race because it brings you so much joy. And so everything is you're revolving it around it. And so all of a sudden you hit this climax, and then when you're coming down from it, it is a biochemical reaction that your body's like, I'm not stimulating my nervous system the same way. I'm not like circulating the same biochemical hormones that are taking me to that level. It's all like chemical in our body. And so that's why we come down. And here's the thing is that you come down from it, whether you had a great race or you didn't have a great race. So
Okay.
that feeling of like post race depression happens for the best races and for like the ones that didn't go right for ourselves. And so this is how I help manage, like with my athletes. I tell them, like, it's helpful to already start thinking about what is next for you. You don't have to say anything public. You don't have to like do anything. It's just, it helps kind of navigate you like, all right, I already have it lined up. Now I have my recovery phase to respect. And it allows you to be patient and respect that recovery so that you already know something's lined up. If you don't have something lined up, it makes it very hard and you feel that void. You're like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And it happens. It really, really does happen to all of us, especially the bigger the race, the bigger the goal, the bigger the race, the more the come down. And it's just trying to be prepared with something else. And it doesn't have to be another goal race. It could be another goal project. Like you already have it lined up. Like this is now what I'm going to start working on right afterwards. Because if not, you will come down and it makes it very hard to come out of that funk.
Yeah, it's definitely funky. So we'll admit it now. You are a recovering educator from the public school system, and you were smart enough to pull the ripcord and get out. How have you changed? Like, how has that transition? Because you're educating youth, and now you're coaching youth and adults. And how have you used that experience that you've gained as an educator to fit into your coaching and just your awareness as person that connects with other people and tries to get the best out of them.
I think the biggest thing it taught me is to be fair, consistent, and patient. And
Mm.
that as all educators, we know that whatever grade or whatever subject level we're teaching, we know that needs to be implemented into our practice as educators. So I taught high school bio for 10 years, and the ages were age 14, 15. So a very difficult age it could be, or it's also a very great age. The biggest thing with teenagers is I never went into that classroom saying I'm demanding my respect from you. I go, I'm earning my respect from you. And same thing, this is a mutual relationship that we're having, and I want to develop that. And I want you to understand that this subject, which is biology that I'm teaching you, is a subject. And what I want you to take out of this classroom is more the skills that I'm going to teach you in this class so that you can translate those skills into other areas of your life and what basically help you explore your passions. So that philosophy has helped even translate towards my coaching. It's like, I don't want you to think that I'm going to say running is the best sport in the world and this is the only way and everything. But I go, what you learn about yourself and what you acquire as far as for skills as you're training for your endurance sport is 100% translatable to other areas of your life. And athletes know that, and endurance athletes know that. And so that's kind of an alignment of my philosophies of teaching and coaching that have overlapped tremendously. And coaching basically is teaching. You are teaching the athlete how to move and how to perform and how to optimize their own body within themselves. So same thing what teachers do is that they're teaching that to their students in their mind. And the coaching as well. You're doing it with your mind and you're putting that connection as well. And as I was teaching, started coaching. That's where I was coaching cross country and high school track. And I was exploring like this is what it means to teach youth and feel what they feel and understand like their energy. And that's when I started to coach like private clients and start getting hired by brands and corporate clients to like be like, can you train this group of adults? Some of them were professional adults, some of them were beginner adults. Like it was just exposed me so much to be able to understand how to always tailor my approach for every single person. And a big thing that you know that as an educator yourself is when you care, when you genuinely care, it comes out. It really, really just radiates from you, whether you're in a teacher or whether you're a coach or whatever it is. And this is the biggest thing is that compliment that I've gotten from several of my athletes often, whether it's in writing or in text or they're sharing by referrals, as they're saying, Nadia makes me feel like I am the only athlete on her roster. Pours so much. And then they see how I'm training that, I'm basically doing that with all of my athletes. Because maybe it's because I'm a middle child, or maybe because I was a teacher, but I truly believe in fairness. I want people to always feel equally that there's opportunity for them to perform. There's opportunity for them to show up for themselves. So as teachers, like I wanted to make sure that when I'm teaching, everything is fair and consistent. And same thing with my athletes, everything is fair and consistent. And when you feel valued as a student or as an athlete, you want to perform better because you know that person is invested in you, whether it's your teacher or whether it's your coach. They're invested, and I really am. Like, I feel like I feel the emotions right now whenever my athlete or my student would succeed, and they feel excited to share that. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm reliving it with them. So they have connected and intermingled together by teaching and my coaching. And I think both of them have enhanced each other. And even though I'm not technically in the classroom anymore, I'm still like an online educator and I want people to learn and I want to continuously learn for the rest of my life. And I think everybody has a valuable story or a valuable lesson to teach others. And if we just keep communicating with each other, we can continuously always learn from each other.
What do you do with the athlete that comes in and has some trauma in terms of athletic trauma. I ran into this where I was getting a lot of people who, if I asked you to do a push-up, they remembered their PE teacher from the 5th grade who told them that they're never gonna do a push-up and they suck and whatever. So how do you help people kind of rewrite their stories so that that's not who they are any longer?
A lot of it is understanding why they feel the way they feel and acknowledging the way they feel and not trying to erase what they feel. And that helps shape who they have been and who they can become. And so just like any past experiences or past occurrences have shaped us who we are today, we can now today reshape our mind, reshape our mindset in order to shape ourselves in the future. So a lot of it is framing ourselves currently, presently. I work with a few of my athletes on just whenever they're writing their goals or whenever they're writing like their fears or their strengths and stuff. And even the way they write it for themselves, they already frame it in a negative connotation. So just
Mm,
helping them reframe it in a positive connotation, in a powerful, and putting themselves in a powerful. And as awkward as they sometimes feel whenever I'm on a call with them or for my youth athletes that I'm training in a person, I have them repeat it. I go, I want you to say, I am strong. I want you to say, I will do this. I will achieve this. And for them, as an adult, like it's even for a kid too, it's so weird to say I will because it almost seems like you're coming from a place of arrogance or of like just
mm,
false persona. And it's like, no, we're gonna work on this and we're gonna repeat it because everything is a nervous system issue. Everything is a nervous system. It's all how our brain is wired. And if we continuously rewire our brain, we can reframe whatever we were, whatever we are, to who we want to be. So that can happen at any age. And that doesn't only have to come from a physical trauma, like if we have a negative association with running, or we have a negative association with strength training, or negative association with trail running because there's fears as well. It's all about reframing. And so I do work with my athletes also on the reframing aspect of just trying to make their mind powerful.
that's great. So, if you had any advice to someone who just wanted to get started, what would you tell them?
The biggest thing is small steps matter every day. We sometimes don't start something new or something that is very intimidating, like because we have big goals, because it seems so far out of reach. And it seems so like, oh, I'll start them because it's so big of a goal. We were like, well, I'll start next week or next month or next season. But if you just start in little small steps now, it makes it more digestible. And it's important to just see the value of just those small steps. Anything great that's been achieved, it's all about the small increments that we can do each day.
That's awesome. So, how do we get in touch with you? How do people connect with you if they wanna work with you, and do you have anything coming up?
Yes. So I am on all social media platforms and my handle's at Iron Girl Nadia. The one that most people have found me on is Instagram. And I also do have a coaching business with a few services. I offer online one-on-one coaching in my program. I offer one-on-one personal training for my local athletes. I just launched my altitude training series for group training runs. And I am keeping these small and intimate because I want everyone to still feel the value of learning, of
Mhm.
being taught how to properly train at altitude, how to trail run, how to run in wilderness, how to run in the winter, how to like fuel and hydrate with the elements, and all of those aspects that there's so many questions that we can come across. And so in a small setting, it helps a lot more easier. Just like a small classroom. You don't want to have a class full of 60, 100 students, and those lectures are great and you still learn, but there is value in small, intimate settings. So my altitude series was launched this month for my clients, and they have loved it so far. I had one already last weekend. I have one this weekend, and I'm opening it up to the public in January, so they can find that in my link and all my social media.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.